27-26, South Warren with 6:10 to go in the game. Now the big thing here, Steve, is Kai Mitchell has not picked up her dribble. So if she chooses, she could dribble. There she goes.
There she goes.
Yep. And a very nice drive. It just didn't go. And I think they're going to get South Warren with the foul.
Too, yeah.
You know, the shot didn't go, but I like that move by Mitchell.
Well, you want to force Franklin to play defense, and if she dribbles the ball and goes to the lane, they're going to have to play defense rather than fall back on her and just let her stand there.
We're going to get a 30-second timeout. Steve, I have a feeling that if South Warren can spot an open McLean Hudson for another three-point attempt or two, I like the Lady Spartans' chances because she definitely is playing with a lot of confidence.
Definitely had a momentum shift. I agree. If we can see that outside shooting continue, it could be hard for Franklin to pull this one out.
Both teams have 4 fouls, so the bonus is yet to be a factor.
That bonus would definitely help South Warren more than it would Franklin.
Yes.
South's been pretty solid from the free throw line. Franklin's struggled a little bit.
All right, Franklin Simpson has the ball. 27-26, South Warren leading.
Watch for that player to come to the free throw line. Yep, they're going to take an outside shot.
Long,
I think if I'm South Warren, I'm good with that.
Yep. Long rebound goes to the Lady Wildcats. The drive and the shot off the mark. Rebound, it's going to go off of Gracie Hodges. Good effort by Gracie, but Hadley Turner knocked it off Hodges, so Franklin Simpson retains possession, and their size is starting to rear its head here in the latter part of this second half. They're getting some offensive boards and second chances. As Lily Partinger, her shot is no good, and there's Mila Moonrath with the rebound. So here come the Spartans, up 1. Gracie Hodges with an open shot.
She drug her foot, unfortunately.
Ooh, boy. Good boy. Gracie had the right thing in mind, but unfortunately, the execution part didn't go as planned. Oh, Steve, those turnovers. Ouch. Ouch. All right, 5:10 to go in the game. It's South Warren 27, Franklin Simpson 26. We've got a tightly contested affair here. And that is Lily Partinger. Her shot is no good. Gracie Hodges has done a great job on the defensive boards tonight for South Warren. McLean Hudson, a 3. You can count it.
That's what we were talking about, Mike.
Yep, it is 30.
Puts him up by 4. Yep. In this game, 4 is a big margin.
It really is.
When they're only scoring 5 to 7, 8 points a quarter. That's what Franklin wants to do. They want to drive to the basket. If South can find a way to make them take those outside shots.
Lily Partinger will go to the free throw line for a pair. It's no good. Steve's mentioned this a couple, 3 times tonight that the Lady Wildcats have not taken advantage of their free throw opportunities. So Partinger will have another free throw attempt. Well, this one goes.
Franklin at the free throw line is not the worst outcome for South right now. Looks like a lot of contact on that inbound pass.
It did. No call other than the ball goes off of Hudson. And Franklin Simpson will get the ball. It's 30-27 South Warren.
It's like she kind of ran through the South Warren player to get to the ball.
Partinger, the drive, the pass, nice pass.
That's what they want to do. They want to get inside.
Ashanti Johnson with the hoop. Here comes that pressure again.
She hasn't dribbled. She needs to dribble.
Okay, McLean Hudson gets it across half court.
A lot of hands there, too.
Yep. Moonrath with the ball. Ashanti Johnson sticking like glue right now to McLean Hudson. Nice move by Kaya Mitchell. She's going to draw the foul. And I'll tell you what, Steve, I think that The Franklin Simpson head coach gave strict instructions to Ashanti Johnson to stay right next to McLean Hudson. So here's a couple of important free throw attempts for Mitchell. The first one is a little bit long. Lanaya Brown will check in for Franklin Simpson, and she replaces Ashanti Johnson. It's 30-29, South Warren, 4:09 to go in the game. Second one's off the mark, so Franklin Simpson will have a chance to retake the lead. Partinger inside to Turner. That pass is going to go.
Be a turnover.
Yep, it's going to be South Warren ball. Steve, let's see if they can try to spot up McLean Hudson for another three-point attempt on the near side of the court. They inbound the ball to Hudson, but she's out top. Ball's batted away, and they're going to get a foul.
I've been waiting on that. She's had hands on her a lot. They haven't called it.
There has been contact, that is for sure. That is the sixth foul on Franklin Simpson, so South Warren's in the bonus. The Lady Spartans have committed 5 fouls. On the court right now for South Warren is Ashley Overbay, Kaya Mitchell, McLean Hudson, Lydia Frank, and Mila Moonrath. You can expect Gracie Hodges to check back in very soon. Mitchell passes off to Frank. Good first game here tonight. And Mitchell has it now out front. We have 3:16 to go. South Warren with a 30-29 lead. Now it's Mitchell. Pass is intercepted.
Another great pass there.
Yeah, she definitely forced that one. So here come the Lady Wildcats with a chance to take the lead. The shot attempt is no good, and there's Mitchell with the rebound.
If you're South, you definitely want them to take a three-point instead of drive to the basket.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
South needs to settle down.
Hudson sticks after it.
Run their offense.
Moonrath. Wow.
There you go.
That's the one thing. We'll keep it right here. There's a timeout. Mila Moonrath does not shoot a lot. She looks to pass. She's the defender and a ball handler. But when she shoots, as you can see, she's capable of burying it. She's one of the 4 South Warren seniors on this team. The other 3 are Gracie Hodges, Mila Moonrath, and Tykedra Garrett. I believe South Warren called that timeout, and I wonder if they're going to, if Lane Embry did that to get Gracie Hodges back in the game, Steve.
He wasn't happy about something at the beginning of that timeout, but he's got to be happy with that three-point shot. He may be a little unhappy with the amount of contact that's going on around half court, in the back court.
I do agree with you, Steve. There seems to be definite contact when the South Warren ball handlers are being pressured, and it seems like a lot of it's being allowed without a foul being called. Again, we respect the job the officials do.
Absolutely.
Appreciate their efforts. But the contact seems to be, and you don't want to turn the game to a foul fest, but there's been some contact. 33-29, South Warren leading, 2:29 to go in the game. There are 16 fouls on Franklin Simpson, 15 fouls on South Warren. Franklin Simpson will inbound the ball. They'll have to take it full court. Frank, Hudson, Moonrath, Overbay, and Mitchell are in the game for South Warren. McAllister has the ball for Franklin Simpson.
You know Franklin's going to try to drive.
Yep. Partinger over to McAllister.
There's a player at the free throw line.
Yep.
There's the drive.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Great play.
That was nicely written up and executed, and it's 33-21. Moonrath sets the screen. They break the pressure.
They can run their South needs to run their offense.
And
It's
They got to call a foul there. Yeah. Frank was diving to try to save the ball, and her momentum carried her into Franklin Simpson, and she knocked her over, and you have to call a foul there. No free throws involved, but the rest of the way, both teams in the bonus. It's a 2-point South Warren lead with 1:47 to go in the game, our first game of the doubleheader. The South Warren Franklin Simpson boys game to follow. As Nolan has the ball for Franklin Simpson. She winds up from three-point range. No. There's Hodges with yet another rebound. Boy, she's been great on the defensive boards.
To come to her. There we go. Nice pass.
Hudson for three. Nope.
They need to run their offense.
Yep. And I think that South Warren's going to get a timeout. And I have a feeling, even though Hudson's been hot, he wasn't real thrilled about that shot. Now it'll be interesting what Lane Embry will draw up here. We'll keep it here. Well, Steve, if you had told me at the midway second quarter mark of this game, that South Warren would have a 2-point lead with 1:18 to go, as a Lady Spartans fan, I'd say I'd take it.
Yep.
So, and they had the ball. And I think, as we've talked about, Steve, the key is to stay out of these traps.
Well, they've done a much better job in the second half of beating that pressure.
Yep. Okay.
They just got to run their offense now. They have to find the open players. Don't get in a hurry and don't panic.
All right. Again, both teams are in the bonus. 6 fouls each, so the next foul will result in free throws.
You know, back in the 80s, the Warren East, Tommy Compton, coaching the Warren East boys, he would have eaten this 118 up. He wouldn't even taken a shot. He'd have killed the whole clock.
Is that right?
Yeah. Back in those days, you know, they might have taken one shot in a quarter. They could dribble, they could pass, and so, you know, South Warren doesn't need to get in a hurry for a shot. They need to run their offense.
Hudson, Hodges, Frank, Moonrath, and Mitchell on the court for South Warren. Hodges has the ball. Mitchell sets a screen for her. Moonrath now has it.
Well, somebody's open because we're double team. There's a lot of contact there, too.
Okay, 1:08 to go. South Warren retains possession. The Lady Spartans leading the Lady Wildcats of Franklin Simpson 33-31. Mike Cleff and Steve Sanders with the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
Inbound.
Yep. There's Hodges. And they're going to call a jump ball.
Wow.
They're going to call a jump ball, and this stays South Warren's way. That stays South Warren's way. So now the arrow is with Franklin Simpson, but this is a big one. South Warren retains possession.
That was a good decision on South Warren. I mean, they had the open lane.
Yep. And a good time out there by McLean Hudson as she couldn't find someone open. So we'll keep it here again. 1:06 to go. South Warren is leading Franklin Simpson 33-31. And Steve, I do think one thing is you want to be selective in taking a shot, but you don't want to be tentative, because if you get a good shot and you run good half-court offense, you make it a two-possession game.
And the way we're going right now, 2 possessions is probably going to do it.
Yep.
I don't know that either one of these teams could overcome a 2-possession deficit right now.
33-31, South Warren leading Franklin Simpson. You're watching the live stream courtesy of the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network and PrepSpin. As Hudson will inbound the ball again, the same 5 out there for the Lady Spartans. And Hudson will look for Hodges, and Hodges has it.
She's still got a dribble.
Yep, she's got time. We're at a minute, and we have contact there. So Hodges will go to the line for a 1-and-1. You see Gracie Hodges, and she just has an innocent-looking face, and you talk to her, she's very nice. But on the court, she is a tough-nosed, hard-nosed competitor. She's done a wonderful job on the defensive boards tonight. And she'll go to the line with 1-and-1. First attempt is up and good. So she gives the Lady Spartans a 3-point lead. Here's the big free throw, because you can make it a 2.
Next one's big.
you can make it a 2-point possession or a 2-possession game. It's not there, so Franklin Simpson has a chance to tie this game. They don't necessarily have to shoot a 3. There's still 55 seconds left.
Well, a 3-point is not their preferred offense tonight.
No.
A drive to the lane and then pressure that inbound pass.
I'll tell you what, Steve, I'd work for the 2-point shot the way they've executed.
Right. And then pressure South Warren on the inbound. But listen, they're not in a hurry to run a play.
We'll keep it here as Franklin Simpson calls a timeout. It's 34-31, South Warren leading with 37.9 seconds left. You know, Steve, again, when they have that high-low, you know, they've run that successfully. I would look for that, get it to a 1-point game, and like you said, pressure South Warren and then perhaps get a foul.
Right, if I'm South Warren, I may want to fall back a little bit, maybe invite him to shoot that 3. I know that may be counterintuitive down by 3, but I can't tell you a 3 that they've made recently. So,
and you know, another thing that's not out of the question, Steve,
foul him.
Yes, not out of the question.
Don't foul him on a 3, but they really haven't been that great at shooting free throws, so that might not even be the worst play. But you know, something you overlook a lot of times is, you know, I don't think teams foul enough.
Right.
Even if they're put them in the 1-and-1, chances are Franklin's not going to make the front end of that 1-and-1. At least they haven't the majority of times tonight.
Yep. So here we go, 37.9 seconds left. South Warren leads Franklin Simpson by 3. It's 34-31. The Lady Spartans have come back from a 7-point second-half deficit. And Franklin Simpson will inbound the ball on the side. And South Warren sticking in that zone, which has been very effective.
See if they try to drive to the lane.
McAllister
try the 3. And that's, if I'm South Warren, that's what I wanted him to do.
If I'm a South Warren fan, and I am, I say thank you very much.
Well,
now, Steve, this is big. Getting the ball inbounds. And you know what I would do, Steve? I would, in addition, I would bring Mitchell down there.
Right.
She's a good target,
she is.
And she's a good passer. Well, then I jinxed her.
Then.
Yep, I jinxed her. That's my fault. I jinxed her. She's the tallest.
I'd much rather just turn and throw it up towards her own basket. And at least if Franklin gets it, they've got to come back the entire distance.
Yeah, that's.
Rather than turn it over on their end.
McAllister almost went up with it. That's Partinger for 3,
There
and she
you go.
makes it. And let's see, do they rule it a 3? They sure do. This game is tied at 34 with 17.2 seconds left. You have to give Lily Partinger a lot of credit. That was a clutch 3-pointer to tie the game at 34. So, South Warren will have the ball. They'll inbound from under their own basket.
And you know that Franklin will have pressure put on. You know, one thing that Coach Embry can look at here is a player breaking away towards the goal and throwing long.
It'll be interesting who inbounds the ball here, Steve. When they had the ball inbounding in the half-court set, it's been McLean Hudson. But in this case, McLean Hudson is a player that you'd want to take as an option for the last shot. So having her inbound might not be the case. It looks like Hudson is going to inbound the ball, though.
Franklin's not. Doesn't look like they're going to pressure the ball coming in.
Does that surprise you, Steve?
Well, yeah, I guess maybe they just don't know where the ball's coming in because they pressured it every other play tonight.
It's not like in the NBA where they move it up to half court.
Now, she can run the baseline because
Right.
it was a made goal.
Right.
And a lot of players forget that. There you go. Look for a foul. She picked up a dribble in a bad spot.
Yep. Frank has the ball, 10 seconds, and they call a timeout. That's Lane Embry. We'll keep it here. That was called by the bench. So the good part is South Warren got it past half court.
You know, the best play right now might be a drive to try to draw a foul.
That's a definite option. And you know who I would have do it, Jeff, or Steve, is I would have Gracie Hodges do it. She seems the one that to take the most initiative driving it to the bucket.
She's been shooting free throws, so she's been at the line recently.
Yep. The other possibility is to have Hodges drive and have her look for Hudson, put her on the opposite side of the court, where she's been hitting those three-pointers and at least give Hodges an option. But the only thing is, at this point of the game, it's got to be a pretty blatant foul for the officials to call it. So Hodges will inbounds on the side. Mitchell, Moonrath, Frank, and Hudson remain in the game for South Warren. And the pass, they get a 5-second call. And I think South Warren might have been out of timeout, Steve.
I thought they were.
Now, I think Franklin Simpson, we'll keep it here. I think Franklin Simpson's going to get a timeout. Kaya Mitchell was moving toward Hodges to try to take a pass at the very end, but Hodges couldn't get a release there. And so Franklin Simpson will have the ball with a chance to win it in regulation. And if South Warren's able to get a stop, then, Steve, we're going to have an overtime.
Yep.
It's the first game of a doubleheader here on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network. The boys' game between South Warren and Franklin Simpson to follow. Interesting game, Steve. Very interesting game. Entertaining.
Has been. Back and forth. It looked like Franklin Simpson was in control in the first half. South Warren took over control in the second half. And here in the last 30 seconds, we're just going to go back and forth.
Well, South Warren must have gotten the timeout. They had a timeout left, so they get to inbound the ball. I stand corrected.
All right.
I thought I saw one official signal 5 seconds, but they did get a timeout. So here goes Hudson, the inbound to Hodges, 7 seconds.
They don't need to delay. They need to run the offense.
Yep, here goes Hodges. The pass over to Frank. Shot is up. No good. And we're going to go to overtime. We're going to go to overtime. Lydia Frank had a good look at it. It didn't go.
She's had a tough shooting night tonight.
She has. So we're tied at 34, heading to overtime. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back with more basketball on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives. It's saving lifetimes.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
We're just underway in the overtime. 4 minutes in the extra session. Franklin Simpson won the tip. We're 12 seconds in the overtime. Good baseline shot there by Partinger. Just a little bit off, and no one, who else but Hodges with the defensive rebound. Moonrath taking it to the bucket, and they're going to call a blocking foul. Strong drive by Moonrath, and she'll go to the line for a couple of free throws. Lily Partinger hit a three-point shot to send this game to overtime. Lydia Frank had a good look on a three-pointer to win it at the end of regulation for the Lady Spartans. It was a little bit off the mark. Moonrath at the free throw line for a pair. The first one a little bit wide. So she'll get a second free throw attempt. And Mila gets that one. Mila, one of the 4 South Warren seniors, and as I mentioned, the home opener, Lane Embry said Mila's the finest student athlete he's ever coached. As high character of the student athletes he's ever coached. He just raves about her. Anyone that visits with her, she's just very well-mannered, very respectful, a wonderful ambassador for South Warren High School. So it's 35-34, Lady Spartans leading, as the Lady Wildcats will try to take the lead. And that is a strong drive by Partinger, and she draws the foul. And it's been well documented tonight that Franklin Simpson has had their issues at the free throw line. We have 3:23 to go in overtime. Steve, I don't know about you, I'm up for some bonus basketball.
Sure.
First free throw is good.
She's hit her shots when she needed to, all the way back into regulation.
That's right. Steve's alluding to the three-pointer that she hit to send this game to overtime.
Nice shot there.
And Franklin Simpson now leads by 1 as Moonrath inbounds to Hodges. And she's being guarded by Ashanti Johnson. Hodges with the ball, and they're going to call a foul. Hodges will go to the line for 2. Both teams in the bonus, but both teams yet to be in the double bonus. On the court, the same 5 for South Warren. It's Kaya Mitchell, number 34. Lydia Frank, number 30. Gracie Hodges, who's at the free throw line, number 10. McLean Hudson, number 11. And Mila Moonrath, number 4. First free throw attempt by Hodges, rims around and is out. The 5 on the court for Franklin Simpson. Caitlin McAllister, number 20. Lily Partinger, number 24. Number 12, Ashanti Johnson, as Hodges hits the second free throw to tie the game at 4. And Franklin Simpson's going to get a timeout. We'll keep it here. Steve, every time I think one of the teams is going to win, the other team bounces back. And, you know, again, I thought when McLean Hudson hit that 3 to give South Warren a 4-point lead that they were going to win, but Franklin Simpson comes back, and now I have no idea. We have 3:11 to go.
Like we talked about, Franklin owned the first half, South Warren the second half, and here in overtime, it's anybody's game.
That's right. See, Steve, we talked about this guy before the game. Over there, I see Nick Lowe. He's the former athletic director of both Greenwood and South Warren, someone I dealt with a lot. That's who Jeffrey Ashby took over for as the athletic director here. And my experience dealing with him, nothing but positive, Steve. And he's an assistant principal here at South Warren.
Yes, he coached both my sons at Greenwood. He's a great guy. Builds great relationships with his players, but he's also got young kids at home now, and I understand, you know, wanting to lighten his workload a little bit and get to be just be an administrator, which is a full-time job in and of itself without having the athletic director duties.
Steve, he won't mind me saying this. I ran into him at the grocery store, and I said, "What's your life like at home?" And he said, "Active." I thought that was a good answer. So here we go, tied at 36. We're under 3 minutes to go in overtime. Franklin Simpson led by 5 at halftime. We were tied at 34 at the end of regulation. Good ball game tonight in our opener. And South Warren's zone defense has been very effective tonight. And there's Kaya Mitchell with the rebound. Good block out by Moonrath. And here come the Lady Spartans. Mitchell doing a nice job setting that screen to free up Moonrath to get the ball up court. Now Moonrath picks up her dribble, gets it to Hodges. Hodges drives. What a shot.
Wow, I was about to say that's out of control, but she made it work.
Wow. You talk about making a shot in traffic. Nice going, Gracie Hodges. Partinger shot, no. McLean Hudson the rebound. Here comes Gracie Hodges bringing the ball up court.
She needs to not pick up a dribble, keep dribbling. That's what happens when you pick it up.
Yep. She saves it, gets it to Hudson. That ball's deflected out of bounds. Steve, one thing about the scoreboards here, and this is a nice facility, they have a scoreboard above the court, and they have scoreboards behind both baselines, but you don't know the foul situation on individual players.
Right.
And so I don't know who might be in foul trouble for either team.
South Warren needs to run it.
And
there's a sloppy play right there.
Yep. What do we get here? Was it Franklin Simpson out of bounds?
I think Franklin Simpson had her foot on the line when they touched it. It would have been a turnover, but I think she was standing on the sideline.
Okay, South Warren inbounds to Moonrath. Lady Spartans leading by 2, 38-36, a minute 40 left in the game. That's Ashante Johnson pressuring Moonrath, and oh boy.
Turnovers, Mike, turnovers.
Yep. What a block.
Wow. Foul.
Wow.
Turnovers.
Yep. Moonrath made a great hustle to get back and contest the shot. She made the block, but the official said there was contact, so you know what, Steve, why not? Send them to the line, make them earn it.
Yep.
Lanaya Brown at the line for 2. Yep, it worked out. And again, like I said, I don't know. That foul was on Moonrath. I don't know what foul number it was for in the game. Second one, no. But, oh boy, Franklin Simpson gets the offensive rebound. The ball goes off South Warren, so Franklin Simpson will inbound with exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds to go, and South Warren with a 38-36 lead. Here's Partinger. Her shot. She's been the go-to person for the Lady Wildcats down the stretch. Moonrath now needs some help. She picked up her dribble. She double dribbled. Ouch. That was the right call. Oh, that hurts, Steve. That hurts.
We're back to turnovers, buddy.
Yep, you are correct about that. Oh, boy. So Franklin Simpson with a minute 13 to go has a chance to take the lead. We're tied at 38. Franklin Simpson, obviously. And Steve, do you think they'd hold to the last shot?
I don't think so. I think if they're going to, I think South Warren needs to do just what they did, which is come out and pressure the ball.
We have 48 seconds left to go.
That'll force them to run some kind of offense.
I wouldn't be surprised if Franklin Simpson calls a timeout here in a moment. 35 seconds left. They go inside. The three-point attempt is up. No. Rebound, though. Franklin Simpson, they pull it back out. And it looks like
a foul.
We have a foul. And if so, that's the 10th foul on South Warren. So that's the double bonus. And
so, Mike, when the official goes to the table and calls a foul, if you look at the scoreboard, it'll give you the player number and the number of fouls.
Thank you. Now I
so
see it.
Three
yeah.
of them.
That was the first time I'd seen that, Steve. They hadn't been showing it before. That's why, I'm glad you spotted that.
Yes, again, this isn't the worst play in the world.
And there you go. Both free throws, no good. Thank you, Steve. That hadn't been showing before.
Well, that's a lot of contact there.
Yeah, that is. Hodges with the drive. She goes in. No foul. 18 seconds left. Shot is off the mark. So here's Franklin Simpson.
We're going to go to double overtime, Mike.
And the shot there, no good. Mitchell with the rebound. They're going to call a jump ball.
South Warren.
Arrow with South. Now you have 3.5 seconds left here, Steve, and no matter what, Kaya Mitchell should throw this ball long.
Right.
No matter what. And I think that's why she's inbounding the ball. Throw it long, Kaya. Looks like Lane got a timeout. Steve, I'm sorry, that had not been showing earlier. I'm glad you pointed out they must have fixed it when they showed the number of fouls on a player. So we'll keep it here.
Just up there for a split second, then it disappears.
Yeah. 3.5 seconds left here in overtime. And you're right, Steve, it looks like we might be getting additional bonus basketball. We're in overtime, tied at 38. South Warren has the ball. And unless there is a buzzer beater shot, looks like we're going to go to a second overtime. Franklin Simpson had a chance to take the lead, but their free throws were off the mark.
You know, if I'm Franklin, I might think about bringing my defense back just a little bit because a foul could cost them the game if they foul in a pressure half court, if they're in their full court pressure. So they might want to think about coming back to about half court, especially if South Warren's going to try to throw long on them.
And it is interesting. They had Mitchell inbounding, Steve. She normally doesn't. And now Franklin Simpson's doing something that I think is a good move. They're having someone or defend the inbounds passer. And that is Vanessa Ray. Yep, Mitchell's going to inbound. Now, Steve, what's interesting, Lydia Frank's down there talking to Coach Embry. I wonder if they're going to have one of the players break long for South Warren. Nope. Hodges, she's got time. Here goes the shot. It's up. It's a little bit short. Steve, you ready for more basketball?
Let's go to double overtime.
Okay. Tied at 38. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll have the second overtime. You're watching the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or
Perfect.
get up.
Looks good. Good, we're gonna take it up.
Who's not a runner now? I am proof of the power of advanced medicine.
All right, we're back at South Warren High School, about ready to start the second overtime girls basketball between the Lady Spartans and Franklin Simpson. Steve, I'm kind of out of words right now. I'm kind of speechless. This is definitely entertaining, partner.
It is. This early in the season.
Well, Steve, at the end of the first overtime, Gracie Hodges, she had a runner from just inside half court.
Boy, it was just short.
Yeah. So we have the jump ball, and Mitchell gets it. So South Warren starts this second 4-minute extra session with the ball. Franklin Simpson's in the double bonus, and we have a foul. And McLean Hudson will go to the line. That's Franklin Simpson's 9th foul. Now, Steve, I want to see if they show the player and the number of fouls up there. And I don't see it yet. There we go. That player is fouled out. That player has fouled out, Steve. That is Lania Brown. So they're going to have to sub in. And coming in will be Vanessa Ray.
In some ways, it's pretty impressive that we're into a second overtime, and that's the first player that's fouled out.
That's a great point. Yeah.
We thought this might be a physical game, but it's really turned out not to be that physical in the sense of a lot of fouls. I mean, you've got one team with 10 and one team with 9, but, we're into our 5th quarter.
The one player I know foul-wise with South Warren, Moonrath, has 3. But you're right, Steve. That was the first player fouled out.
Nice offensive rebound.
Yep. Moonrath drives baseline, kicks over to Overbay, over to Frank. 39-38, South Warren. We're in the first 30 seconds of the second overtime. Bonus basketball in the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network. There's Frank.
Turnover.
There you
She
go.
picked a great time to hit that.
That was a great pass by Hudson, wasn't it?
Is that the first one she's hit from the corner tonight?
I think it's her second. I think it's her second.
Well, she picked a good time for number 2.
Her timing was exceptional. And
Let's see if South Warren can get control, get the ball up, run their offense. That's a lot of contact.
Yep. Hodges.
They've got to call that.
Yeah. Gracie Hodges right now is not in the game, and I don't believe she fouled out. I just think that Coach Embry wanted to give her a quick breather.
So we're in the double bonus now for South also.
Yes. Both teams shooting free throws, 2 free throws for every foul the rest of the game. And Hudson, that attempt is a little bit short. So 3:11 to go. It's 42-38. South Warren, as McLean Hudson will try to give the Lady Spartans a 5-point lead, and she does.
You know, about 30 minutes ago, Mike, I'd said 5 points is insurmountable, but wow, we've seen the end of regulation, the end of first overtime.
The one predictable thing about this game so far, Steve, it's been unpredictable. As Franklin Simpson passing around on the perimeter, McAllister has the ball right now. It's 43-38, South Warren. McAllister will try a three, and it's good.
Wow. I almost said that's what South wants her to do, but not make it. Now here we go inbounds on the sideline. This is where South has run into trouble, and there we go again.
They call a double dribble, and I believe Hodges is about to check back in. I think Coach Embry just gave her a rest there to start overtime. She's just gone at it so hard. And I'll tell you, Steve, I thought at the end of the first overtime she looked gassed, but she's not going to want to come out of the game. She's too much of a competitor. Every player has a right to be tired in this game. It's the second overtime. We've gone about halfway through it. We have 2:19 to go. That's for the lead, and it's no good. Franklin Simpson retains possession. This is Partinger, and they're going to call traveling. So South Warren has their 5 in that finished, played most of the second half. Hodges, Moonrath, Hudson, Mitchell, and Frank.
If you notice on these inbounds, Franklin gives them the sideline.
They really do.
They're inviting them to go to the sideline. Nice drive. Nice drive.
I'll tell you what, Steve. Gracie Hodges is not afraid of contact on those drives. And she gets a good shot up. Case in point there, South Warren up 4. Minute 45 to go. Jumper? No. And I think they're going to get it over the back.
Yep.
And
I believe 2 shots.
Yeah. Guess who was there for the defensive board, Steve?
Is that Hudson?
That was Hodges.
Hodges.
Yep. So I believe she's going to go to the line for 2. Steve, got a question for you.
All right.
Put you on the spot. If South Warren wins this game and we had a game MVP, who'd you give it to?
Wow.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. I think you got 3 legitimate candidates. The young lady at the free throw line, Gracie Hodges, who made the first free throw. I think McLean Hudson.
That's clutch right there. 2 free throws, puts them up by 6.
Yep.
That's a mountain in this game.
And I think you got to consider a third one, possibly Mila Moonrath. But I think it's between Hodges and Hudson, but it's close. Minute and a half to go.
She walked.
I think she did too. Wow.
I mean, that's Steph Curry range.
Yep. All right, we're going to keep it here, Steve. Minute 25 left. Franklin Simpson takes time out. It's 47-44, and I'm going to guarantee you Elaine Embry is going to say, no matter what, make sure you do not play off of Caitlin McAllister because she's got
a hot hand right now.
And her range is, I mean, she made those.
They haven't shot the three-point well all night till right at the end of regulation and into overtime.
So here's, we'll set things up here on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network. Mike Cleff and Steve Sanders. You can also check us out on PrepSpin. We have 1:25 left in the second overtime. South Warren is leading Franklin Simpson 47-44. The Lady Spartans have the ball. South Warren trailed at halftime 17-12. It seems like, Steve, that was Monday morning.
It was. I feel like we've scored just about as many points in overtime as we did the entire first 2 halves of the game.
It does feel that way. Well, let's see, Steve. Since halftime, South Warren has scored 35 and Franklin Simpson has scored 27. We were tied at 34 at the end of regulation and then tied at 38 at the end of the first overtime. So South Warren has outscored Franklin Simpson 9-6 in the second overtime. Franklin Simpson's points have come on a pair of 3-pointers by Caitlin McAllister, number 20. So here we go.
She can run the inbounds.
Yep. And she inbounds to Moonrath.
And here we are in the corner and on the sidelines where we don't want to be.
Good move by Moonrath to go back to midcourt.
Somebody needs to be moving towards her.
Yep. Picked up her dribble. You got to help her out. Uh-oh.
Yeah. That's just not what you want to do. You don't want to pick your dribble up. That's a big call right there.
That was. They called Franklin Simpson for double dribble.
You cannot pick your dribble up there at midcourt with your back to the half-court line.
So South Warren will inbound on the side. It's Hodges. She gets it to Hudson.
That's a foul.
Yep. And they're going to call it, so Hudson will go to the line. Still have a long ways to go, Steve. 1:08 to go. Hudson to the line for 2. How about if South Warren wins, we co-MVPs to Hudson and Hodges, because I can't make up my mind.
Listen, it's been a total team effort.
It has.
Every player that's been out on the court tonight for South Warren has done their part.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Steve. I think the player under the radar for them that's done a nice job is Mitchell.
Absolutely,
Mitchell,
that's who I was thinking.
Number 34. First free throw is no good. This is a big one because it gives South Warren a 2-possession lead. It's no good, in and out. Did everything but drop through the net. So Franklin Simpson has a chance to tie. That's Hudson getting out on McAllister. Now Frank is defending McAllister. This is Partinger. That is over to Nolan. Go ahead, Steve.
He can shoot the 3 also, as we know.
Good defense by Frank. Over to Partinger. We have 40 seconds left. Partinger for 3. No, but they get the rebound. Nolan. And what are they going to get, a foul? They're going to get a foul.
It's not the worst outcome that it could have come from there.
32.4 seconds left. Of course, every foul now. 2 free throws. Both teams a double bonus. Let's see. That foul was called on, that was only the first foul. That was only the first foul on McLean Hudson. Wow, Steve. You've played nearly 40 minutes. That's your first foul, and McLean Hudson plays hard. Wow.
Impressive.
That is. First free throw is no good.
And again, the worst outcome for South Warren is Franklin on the free throw line.
Yep.
Not the worst outcome.
They're going to call that ball off Franklin Simpson, so.
And we've got to get the ball inbounds, and we've got to make smart decisions with it. They're going to put pressure.
Yep. So Hodges inbounds. Oh boy, that was close.
Now we're going to be inbounding from a worse position.
Ooh, and
right
she can't move.
And
she can't move. Just like before, she's got to stay stationary. 32
look
seconds.
for Mitchell needs to come up a little bit, take the pass.
Yep.
We got poor spacing.
I think
5-second call.
Okay. Coach Embry was signaling a timeout. He's not happy, but they didn't get it in time. Now Franklin Simpson calls a timeout. We'll get it here. Yep. Now Coach Embry, he's been around the block, been around his dad. He was asking the officials. They couldn't get him to get the timeout. Of course, you can call the timeout from the bench. But he is certainly not going to get a technical foul at this point in the game. And the officials are not going to call one unless they're basically left with no choice. So here's where we are. 32.0 seconds left, exactly 32 seconds. We're in the second overtime. South Warren is leading Franklin Simpson 47-44 as the Lady Spartans are trying to win for the second time this season.
Mike, you think McAllister hits a 3 and sends us to triple overtime?
See, the way this is going, it would not surprise me. And you know, Steve, I'm glad you mentioned her name. I think if someone shoots the ball here besides McAllister, number 20, or Partinger, number 24, I'll be very surprised.
I think on their last possession, that's what you saw. That ball was continuing to move. A couple of ladies had an open look, but, you know, they weren't interested in shooting the ball. Kept coming back to Partinger and McAllister.
And, Steve, I'll ask this again. Do you think South Warren, do you think fouling Franklin Simpson would be an option here?
I think it would be for me. They haven't hit a free throw in the last couple of times to the trips to the charity strike. So now you don't want to do that if you're not going to block out and rebound.
So McAllister will inbound to Partinger. And looks like, was there a clock issue? Wonder if they inbounded too early. Well, okay. Now we have 26 seconds left. McAllister, good defense by Moonrath. Hardinger being guarded by Hudson. You know, that's a good play, Steve. Get the quick two.
And then pressure.
Get the quick two.
She's got to move.
Yep.
You cannot stand still in there. There you go.
Now, Franklin Simpson is doing a favor here. They're doing a real favor here, Steve.
That's a foul.
Steve, you know what I mean by them doing a big
they
favor?
just let them dribble around.
2.5 seconds
That's
left.
a mental mistake. They should have. If they were going to foul him, they should have fouled him quick. Honestly, with 2.5 seconds to go, this game may be out of reach. It's a tall order to get the ball up the court, get a good look in 2.5 seconds.
Good move here by Coach Embry. He gets the other 4 Spartan players off the free throw line, so it's just Gracie Hodges.
Certainly don't want to foul.
Lady Spartans up 1.
There
First
you
free
go.
throw is good. And substitutions coming in. Hardinger is in. So here's Hodges' second attempt. Southbourne up 2. 2.5 seconds left. Nice job,
Nice
Gracie
shot.
Hodges. Okay, Hardinger.
Don't foul.
Right. Wow, that was not a bad attempt, but I'll tell you what, Steve, give a lot of credit to South Warren girls basketball.
I thought when Franklin came back at the end of regulations, the momentum had shifted, and Franklin was going to pull it out. But, you know, South just would not stay down.
Steve, I'll tell you what, you're right. They would not stay down. How much did you enjoy that first game?
That was amazing. To be this early, you know, yeah, the turnovers were a factor. At some points it was sloppy, but, you know, as the game went on, turnovers did slow down a little bit. And, you know, what you can say is South Warren, the ladies really wanted that victory, and they fought hard for it. They didn't give up. They didn't quit.
A lot of credit to pass around to the Lady Spartans. You know, Gracie Hodges makes those 2 free throws at the end of the game to make it. Go ahead, Steve.
That forced them to take a 3.
That was big. You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, McLean Hudson hit those stretch of threes where they gave she gave South Warren the lead. Lydia Frank hit a big 3 in overtime. Mila Moonrath, really good defense, kept the ball moving. Kaya Mitchell, we talked about it, just did a lot of nice things away from the ball. And Lydia Frank, again, as you mentioned, a total team effort. And, you know, head coach Lane Embry, if I'm him, Steve, you sit there and say, you know, we got to cut the turnovers down. We've got some things to work. But I know one thing is my team has heart, and they showed it. And you've got to, again, just go ahead, Steve.
At the end of the night, Mike, that's a win.
Exactly.
That's a win.
And not only that, you came back to win. And they're going to be exhausted tonight. They played 40 minutes in a game in which South Warren wins by a final of 49-46. All right, Steve, we're going to take a timeout. We got about 20 minutes before we got another game.
Let's reload and get going.
Hey, that sounds good, partner. Mike Cleff, Steve Sanders will be back right after this quick timeout.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or
Perfect.
get up.
Looks good. Good, we're gonna take it up.
Who's not a runner now? I am proof of the power of advanced medicine.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives. It's saving lifetimes.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or
Perfect.
get up.
Looks good. Good, we're gonna take it up.
Who's not a runner now? I am proof of the power of advanced medicine.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives. It's saving lifetimes.
All right, welcome back to South Warren High School. We're still several minutes away from the start of the second game of our doubleheader, the boys basketball game between the Spartans of South Warren and the Wildcats of Franklin Simpson. But I'll tell you what, this second game is going to have a hard time matching the first game. Our first game, girls basketball contest, which the South Warren Lady Spartans won in double overtime, 49-46, and truly a back and forth game. And Steve, it had its moments where the play had mistakes in it. There were turnovers, but the effort was top notch, and the thrills were in abundance. It was a really fun game, wasn't it?
It was. You know, you have to applaud both teams. They both played. You know, it really was a clean game. There wasn't a lot of physicalness, ugliness in it. You know, it's early in the season. There were a lot of turnovers. Both teams had some droughts with getting shots to fall, but you have to applaud both teams. But in the end, South Warren, at any given moment, even into the first half, they could have given up and just let Franklin run with it, and they didn't. Even when momentum changed at the end of regulation with that three from Partinger that tied it with time running out, and you could kind of feel the air deflate in the arena here. But you got to give credit to Coach Embry. He didn't let his players give up. He didn't let them fold the towel, and they kept battling and kept battling. Some shots fell when they needed them to, and they played some good defense. So there you go.
Steve, tonight's boys game, coaches in contrast as far as the number of years as a head coach with their respective teams, Franklin Simpson's head coach. Dee Spencer has been the Wildcats head coach for a while. But as we talked about just a little bit, and I want to get into a little more depth, the Spartans have a new head coach, but he's a very familiar guy in Carlos Corrals, affectionately known as Coach Q. And Steve, just, you know, as someone who grew up in this area, you know, worked with this school district for as many years as you did, when you heard that he was named the head coach for South Warren boys basketball, what was your reaction?
Well, I just think it's a good move. He has experience. He builds great relationships with players. We've talked all season so far that that's the key to being successful is getting players to buy into what you're trying to coach them and trying to get them to do. And, you know, he does that.
And Steve, that's what I have found with him as well. Now, even though the players are familiar with him, Steve, this early in the season, do you think there's an adjustment period, getting used to hearing, you know, he's now in the main chair. So as a player, is there still, you know, here we are on the 6th of December, is there still a transition getting used to him as the head coach?
I would think there still is some transition, but I think every game, you know, presents different situations, and you get to hear him in all those different situations, and you're beginning to learn him and learn his system, and I think every game gets easier, gets better.
All right, we are with the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network. Mike Cleff and Steve Sanders. We'll run down the options here where you can watch us. Want to give some quick thanks to our PrepSpin CEO and co-owner, William Warfield, along with our hosts tonight, Principal Jenny Hester at South Warren High School, Athletic Director at South Warren High School, Jeffrey Ashby, our leadership with Warren County Public Schools, Rob Clayton, Jason Kupchella, and Chris McIntyre. Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot. We're going to talk about our bosses. You know, forget a moment that Mr. Clayton and Mr. Kupchella and Mr. McIntyre are bosses. I just love talking sports with them. Sure, they are huge sports fans, aren't they?
Big sports fan, big Warren County team.
Yep.
They root for all the teams, you know. Yeah, I enjoy talking to them about sports too. You know, you and I obviously know a whole lot more about sports than they do. But we won't tell them that.
Okay. Notice that I'm not disagreeing with you. but I'm going to publicly say I'll take the fifth. No, I'm just having
fun.
Yep.
Mr. Kupchella, he coached, but, you know, we're still miles ahead of him.
Yeah, but and I'll say this too. What's neat about all three of them, they show up at all sporting events. It's not just your frontline sports. They show up at all of them. So anyway, so here we are. We're about 9.5 minutes away from the start of this second game. Real quick, you can watch us on PrepSpin.com, go.PrepSpin.com, our PrepSpin Facebook or Twitter pages. Roku or Fire Stick TV, look for PrepSpin. Also, you can go to our website, warrencountyschools.org, or you can go to WBKO.com and look for the PrepSpin link. So that's where we stand right now. Hey, we're about 9 minutes away from the starting lineups for tonight's second game of the doubleheader. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be right back. You're watching the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives. It's saving lifetimes.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going. Perfect.
or get up.
Looks good. Good, we're gonna take it up.
Who's not a runner now? I am proof of the power of advanced medicine.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives, it's saving lifetimes.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or
Perfect.
get up.
Looks good. Good, we're gonna take it up.
Who's not a runner now? I am proof of the power of advanced medicine.
I think they would, Steve. I think they would. They direct deposit mine. Yeah. All right, welcome back to South Warren High School. We're about 4.5 minutes away from the starting lineups of both the Spartans and the Wildcats. The second game of the doubleheader. If you're just joining us here on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network, man, our first game was a dandy. South Warren girls basketball defeating Franklin Simpson 49-46 in double overtime. Mike Cleff, Steve Sanders. All right, Steve, since you've joined us, we've had a 49-48 overtime football game, and we've had a double overtime game in girls basketball. You're officially our good luck charm.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
We've had some interesting action just so far since I joined after the 1st of October.
Yeah, it's been. And the good part is, both of those wild games, the teams in our school district have won.
Warren County teams ended up pulling them out.
Yep. So anyway, this is our first look. We will run down the schedule real quick. As we talked about, we'll be at Warren Central on Thursday. Boys basketball, the Dragons hosting the Scotties of Glasgow. That's a 6 p.m. start. And then on Friday, we'll have a boys-girls basketball doubleheader. We'll be at Warren East as the Raiders and Lady Raiders will host the Trojans and Trojanettes of Barron County. Barron County girls basketball, usually one of the strong programs in our region. Piper Lindsay, an outstanding coach there. And we'll be on at 6 p.m. there. So
I think next week we've got Warren Central and these same Wildcats, don't we?
Let me double check here, Steve. We sure do.
Well, I noticed
we sure do. A week from tonight,
one of
Steve.
our favorite Dragons, Kate Unsell's up in the stands above my right shoulder, getting a peek at the action tonight.
You know, Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot. So when you were an administrator at Lost River Elementary, he attended school there.
Yes.
And basically what you were telling me, it's not a surprise that he's a really good basketball player because he's always carried himself in the right way, even as an elementary school student, right, Steve?
Great kid. You could tell his mom and dad had high expectations for him. He always lived up to them. Kids are kids, and, no kids are perfect, and they all have their challenges. But listen, as kids go, he was amazing. It was always a pleasure to have him in the building. He was involved in lots of different things, activities and programs in the building. And I'm not a bit surprised that he excels both on the court and off the court.
And Cade, of course, Steve mentioned he's here tonight as a fan and as a scout. Of course, Cade's dad is William Unseld, the head coach of the Dragons. And, I was going to tell you a story, Steve, because I think you had him as a student at Lost River Elementary, Skylar Potter.
I did.
Skylar signed, at first went to play college basketball at Wright State, then he transferred to Morehead State, played an NCAA tournament game there. And I'll never forget, when I was working for WBKO, I was attending his signing, and William Unseld said something that stuck with me, and you reminded me of that tonight. William Unseld said, all the credit goes to Skylar because he allowed himself to be coached.
Yeah, Skylar was a good kid. He was a good kid. I could see what Coach Unseld saying. He was coachable. He was involved in lots of things at school, lots of activities and programs, and just a great kid. I was so happy when he excelled at Warren Central and went on to play some D1 basketball. That's awesome.
And Steve, let's clear up something. When we're saying that a student athlete allows themselves to be coached, we're not talking about verbal abuse, nothing like that. Just being challenged.
How can you make me better?
Right.
How can you make me a better player? How can I compete better? How can I better my skills? How can I be a better person? Coaches are amazing. They know the answers to those things. And if kids will listen and allow themselves to be taught those lessons, you get your Skylar Potters, you get your Cade Unselds, you get these kids on South Warren tonight. I look forward to seeing them in just a minute.
Before we get the starting lineups here, Steve, I'm glad you mentioned a week from tonight we will be at that basketball doubleheader at Warren Central between the Dragons and the Franklin Simpson Wildcats, Lady Wildcats and Wildcats, and the Dragons and Lady Dragons. We'll pause for a moment and let you take a listen to the tonight's starting lineups. All right, so there's your starting lineups, and we're just moments away from tip-off. Steve, very curious about, I've really been looking forward to seeing this South Warren team. And we're just moments from getting this game underway. Again, the Spartans starting lineup. Number 0, Brandon Rowe. Number 1, Andrew Goley. Number 2, Justin Posey. Number 23, Andrew Linhart. Number 33, Braden Parrish. And we're underway. Franklin Simpson wins the tip. So we're underway with game 2 of our doubleheader.
South Warren starts out in man-to-man defense, matching up. Excited to see this game, Mike. This is our first boys varsity action of the year.
South Warren comes into tonight's game off to a good start. They're 3-1 on the young season. We'll run down who they've played and how they've done. As South Warren gets the stop there. Nice drive. The shot is just off the mark, but good hustle there. Parrish gets the ball. Nice pass. Nice pass.
He had a great rebound, great hustle for the ball, and got rewarded for it with a pass back and a put in.
Andrew Linhart with the nice pass to Braden Parrish.
South Warren with some pressure on the ball.
And good hands there by the Spartans as they get the rebound.
Spartans are active so far. Parrish had his hands on that one.
Okay. Shot there, no good, and Franklin Simpson with the rebound. South Warren has the first points of the game as Andrew Linhart with the rebound. And he gets the ball. That is Andrew Goley. That's Brandon Rowe with the ball now for the Spartans. He wears number 0. I'll tell you what, Steve, he's a ball handler, and he's got some good size, and that's a real advantage.
Yep.
Nice move.
Man, that was a nice move.
Nice
Smooth.
move. 4-0 good guys.
Nice move. Good hands.
As Franklin Simpson gets the ball across half court. Shot goes out of bounds. It's going to be Spartans ball. South Warren started the season with a win over Todd County Central. Then they lost to Lyon County, but they have won back-to-back games since then, defeating Logan County and ACS. They defeated ACS last night as that was a boys-girls basketball doubleheader at Scottsville, and they're going to get an offensive foul there.
You know, it's unfortunate, but you like to see him be aggressive like that. So in some ways the coach will take that, maybe have him get just a little bit more control, but still I like that aggressiveness.
One thing that South Warren's athletic director told us tonight, and you'll be able to see this as Steve pans the court with the camera, the benches are different for the boys' game compared to the girls' game. Like right there, the South Warren bench, that's where the Franklin Simpson girls were. And then right there, where the Franklin Simpson boys were, the South Warren girls were there in the first game. So South Warren doing the job defensively so far. They're pitching a shutout.
A nice crossover.
That was Andrew Goley, and they're going to call a foul. One thing, Steve, if there's one thing that, nice pass, inbounds pass. Parrish couldn't get it to go. He was defended there. But Steve, in my time getting to visit with Coach Corals, the one thing he emphasizes is unselfishness. And if you've got a good shot and someone's got a better shot, get the ball to the person with the better shot.
Right.
So Andrew Goley waiting to inbound for the Spartans. He kicks it out, and ooh, that was a dangerous pass. That was a good catch by Justin Posey. Parrish, he's got a good touch from outside. And they're going to get a foul on Franklin Simpson. One thing about the Wildcats' longtime head coach, Dee Spencer, he's a great guy, good coach, really good coach. You'll notice him during the game, and you'll hear his voice on our microphones during the live stream. Always enjoy visiting with Dee.
Nice move.
Ooh, very nice. And they're going to get a foul there.
He definitely got fouled.
And you know what I like, Steve, is what Coach Corals and his staff are doing. They get Brandon Rowe in different parts of the court on the offense. They've had him out front. They've had him on the baseline. And again, I don't know what his official height is, but he's got length. He handles the ball well.
We had a great first step on that move.
He sure did. And you can tell right there he's got a nice touch from the free throw line.
Yeah, he had a quick spin on that move.
So it is 5-0 South Warren. Second free throw by Rowe is good.
Nice form, nice shot.
Wow, what a steal there by, wow, that was very nice by Andrew Goley. It's 8-0. And Franklin Simpson's going to call a timeout. We'll take a quick break. You're watching South Warren boys basketball on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or
Perfect.
get up.
Looks good. Good, we're gonna take it up.
Who's not a runner now? I am proof of the power of advanced medicine.
Yeah. Welcome back to South Warren High School. Coach Corals and his South Warren Spartans team off to a great start, leading 8-0.
Very active on the defensive end, rebounds, hands. You know, he's got to be happy so far.
And what I like, Steve, they've had good movement in their half-court offense.
They scored off their defense. They scored in a set. They scored from the free throw line. You know,
that's a nice shot by Franklin Simpson to get in the scoring column. So it's 8-2. So South Warren gets the pressure. Nice pass again. That's Rowe. No, check that. That's Justin Posey. Stand corrected. And Franklin Simpson will try to come back. They get the offensive board, but the shot is blocked. It will stay with the Wildcats. We have 3:55 to go in the first quarter. South Warren leading 8-2. Our first game, girls basketball thriller. South Warren defeated Franklin Simpson 49-46 in double overtime. And what a steal by Andrew Linhart. He's going to lay it in. You know what I like there, Steve? He didn't try to do anything fancy. Right. Controlled the ball, went up, got the layup, and it's 10-2 Spartans.
Man, he's got to give me more of a chance to move the camera, though. He was so fast. I mean, that's what I'm saying, active hands.
Yep.
I'm going to have active hands on the camera.
Now, one thing about Coach Q, Coach Corals, and we're saying this with the utmost respect, when you see him on the bench and in the huddle, you've got to look because he's not going to be the tallest person in the huddle.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep.
And that's coming from someone who's quite vertically challenged in me.
And that is coming from a 5'10" person like myself. Nice steal and bucket there by Franklin Simpson.
Coach is not going to be happy with that.
No. So Franklin Simpson will try to convert this three-point play and cut the Spartans' lead. Right now it's 10-4. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry, I thought you were going to say something, Steve. My bad. Three-point play for the Wildcats. Of course, the most prominent player they've had in recent history. I covered him in high school and also got to cover him in college. Taven Lovin, who went on to play at UAB. Had a nice career for the Blazers.
Coach Corals is not going to be happy with the last two possessions.
No.
2 straight turnovers after starting the game the way they did.
You know, you mentioned it before, Steve. You know, when the young man for South Warren, I think it was Brandon Rowe, when he drove the lane and got the offensive foul, you're okay with that. You're trying to make a play. Even if you miss a shot, he's okay with that. It's those turnovers. And it's not just the person making the pass, Steve. That person receiving the pass has to make a strong effort and go out and get the ball. 2 parts to that. That's Justin Posey with the ball, and that's Andrew Linhart. Wow.
That was a good look.
I'll tell you what, Steve, Andrew Linhart's got a good-looking shot. 13-5 Spartans. And they're going to get a travel. So South Warren out of the blocks in good fashion here, leading 13-5 with the ball. 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go in the first quarter. Bryce Button checks into the game for the Spartans. He wears number 5. And, of course, he's the starting quarterback on the Spartans football team. Also checking in as the shot is off the mark. Good hustle there. Drew Hudson's in the game for South Warren. And if memory serves me correct, Steve, I think Drew Hudson, that is the son of WKU volleyball coach Travis Hudson. His niece, McLean Hudson, played in the girls' game. She had a big game. South Warren won in double overtime. Here it's 13-5.
Sam Dagenhart also checked in for the Spartans a second ago, number 10.
Okay. So right now the Spartans have Sam Dagenhart out there, Drew Hudson, Andrew Goley, Bryce Button, and Brandon Rowe. Wow.
There's more Steph Curry range.
Yes. That was DeMarcus Logan hitting the long triple, like Steve said, Steph Curry-like. So Coach Q getting a lot of players in the first quarter. Rowe with the ball. I just like the way he plays, Steve.
Yes, absolutely.
Head's always up, looking for an open teammate. Button over, and they're going to bring it back out. Andrew Goley says, okay, there's Hudson. Shot is up, no good, but a good rebound. And I believe that they're going to get Sam Dagenhart with the foul. He was trying to go for the rebound, but they felt like he pushed a Franklin Simpson player. Good communication by the ref with Sam. They explained what he did. Sam said, okay. So the lineup in for the Spartans right now is Brandon Rowe, number 0. Drew Hudson, number 11. Bryce Button, number 5. Sam Dagenhart, number 10. And Andrew Goley, number 1. We're in the final minute of the first quarter. Franklin Simpson's cut the deficit to 5. Mike Cleff, Steve Sanders with the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network. Good defense by the Spartans. And Franklin Simpson with 10 seconds to go, obviously playing for the last shot of the first quarter. Nice move there. The shot by Button, short off the mark, and that's how the first quarter ends. South Warren leads Franklin Simpson 13-10. We'll be back with more basketball. You're watching South Warren Boys Basketball on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or
Perfect.
get up.
Looks good. Good, we're gonna take it up.
Who's not a runner now? I am proof of the power of advanced medicine.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
Welcome back to South Warren High School, where the Spartans lead the Wildcats of Franklin Simpson 13-10. We'll get Steve's early thoughts in a moment. He's welcome to share them at any time, but Steve Sanders also doing a great job running the camera as South Warren gets the ball to start the second quarter. That's Rowe. That's Lucas Smith, number 4. Bryce Button over to Lucas Smith. He nearly went up with the shot. Drew Hudson over to Button. And that ball pass gets turned over, but a good hustle by South Warren.
Looked like it went off Franklin, but
they're going to say it's Franklin.
They're going to disagree with me.
What do you think of this game so far, Steve?
Well, you know, I thought this with the girls' game also. You know, South Warren plays one style of ball, which is more of your ball movement perimeter. Franklin's playing much more of a penetrate into the paint, try to get a layup or go to the rim, work for the rebound. I think the girls' game actually worked out that way also. So I think you have two distinctive offenses here. You have more of the shooting-oriented offense, and you have more of the drive/slash type offense in Franklin.
Spartans got off to a fast start, but the Wildcats have responded and cut the Spartans' lead to 3 here early in the second quarter, and I think they were cleaning up a spot on the floor there is why the delay in the game.
We spent a lot of time wiping perspiration off the floor. You'd think there was an ice rink underneath it.
Jalen Briscoe has been the story of the game so far for Franklin Simpson. He wears number 11.
You know, it was a really fast-moving first quarter.
It was.
Not a lot of fouls.
Yep.
Wow. Nice shot right there.
And
ties it up.
Yep. So credit to Franklin Simpson. They battled back, and we have a tie game at 13. And that's got the Wildcat student section into it.
Wildcat defense has picked up, and I think it's got South Warren a little bit shaky.
Ooh, dangerous pass.
Those cross-court passes are not going to work.
Yeah.
Franklin's all of a sudden much too active for that.
South Warren has a nice turnout in their student section tonight.
If I'm Coach Coles, I'd think about putting my starters back in there. They seem to have had a better run against this Franklin lineup.
He has Andrew Linhart back in there, and he also has Braden Parrish, and I think he listened to you, Steve. Justin Posey's in there as well. As there's the turnover again. Here come the Wildcats. Good pressure by the Spartans. Now they've got numbers. Three-pointer, good. And Franklin Simpson now leads by 3. And they've done it from three-point range, Steve.
Which completely discredits my analysis earlier when I said their offense was going around driving and slashing. And, yep. You shouldn't ask me any more questions, Mike. I'm going to give you the wrong answer.
Well, I'll tell you what you were right on is Franklin Simpson's really amped it up defensively. Linhart, no good. Good rebound there by Posey. And he gets the follow, and the Spartans are within 1. Now the Spartans will apply the full court pressure again, and
they need to trap him, see if they could get a 10-second count there, but they let him recover.
Nice job by the Spartans getting the turnover. Here comes Brandon Rowe, and you can do that. The drop step, good call.
Euro step there.
That was nicely done. Brandon Rowe. I'll say it again, Steve. I really like his game.
He does. He's got some length on him.
And he's going to go to the line for the free throw. The Spartans have regained the lead, and Rowe will be at the free throw line to try to convert on the conventional three-point play. Yeah, Steve, I'll run down the schedule. Thursday, boys basketball, 6 p.m. game. We're at Warren Central. The Dragons will host Glasgow. Then we'll be out at Warren East Friday for a boys-girls doubleheader as Warren East hosts Barron County. Next week, as Steve mentioned, we'll be at Warren Central. Next Tuesday, Warren Central hosting these Wildcats and Lady Wildcats of Franklin Simpson in a doubleheader starting at 6. And then we'll be out Warren Central again a week from Friday, a girls game in which the Lady Dragons will host the team we saw in the first game tonight, the Lady Spartans of South Warren. So It's 17-16. South Warren leading Franklin Simpson. With 5:36 to go in the first half, the Wildcats have the ball. Our first game tonight, it was something else, a gem. South Warren winning over Franklin Simpson 49-46 in double overtime. Good steal there. And it's going to be in a good defensive play. The Franklin Simpson player, and I hope he's okay. That young man from Franklin Simpson hustled back, made a defensive play, and then he landed wrong. I believe it was on his left foot. I hope that young man is okay. That, Steve, I love to see that hustle.
Yeah.
As he made the play against Andrew Goley. Trying to see who, I think that's O.J. Gamble. I'm getting blocked by number. I think that's 23, Steve. And he's still down there. They can't play because part of him's still on the court.
I think they're looking for the trainer.
Yep. Nothing. I mean, he just landed wrong on it. Yeah, that's O.J. Gamble. And D. Spencer is down there consoling him as the trainer works on him. We'll take a quick timeout while they tend to O.J. Gamble. You're watching the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives. It's saving lifetimes.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or
Perfect.
get up.
Looks good. Good, we're gonna take it up.
Who's not a runner now? I am proof of the power of advanced medicine.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
Right, we're back at South Warren High School. While we were away, Andrew Goley had a basket for South Warren. The Wildcats have answered with a pair of hoops. So Franklin Simpson has taken a 20-19 lead. O.J. Gamble was able to walk to the bench, and he is seated there, and hopefully that young man is okay. 4:12 to go in the first half. South Warren is trailing Franklin Simpson 20-19. As Justin Posey with the three-pointer goes in and out.
He had a good look.
Yep, and the Wildcats have the rebound. And the layup just off the mark, so here come the Wildcats.
That was a risky pass right there.
Yeah.
They need to run their offense.
Okay, we have 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Franklin Simpson is leading South Warren 20-19. Mike Cleff, Steve Sanders with the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network, courtesy of PrepSpin. And the ball goes out of bounds, and it will go the direction of the home team Spartans.
Been a good first half so far, back and forth.
This is the third game of the season for the Wildcats. They won their first 2 games, wins over Monroe County and Clinton County. And Steve, I might have interrupted you. I apologize.
You're good.
Okay. Franklin Simpson has gone to a zone. Now this is Justin Posey with a 3-pointer, and oh boy, just off the mark. Franklin Simpson with the rebound. After a fast start, the Spartans have gone cold. We have 2:40 to go in the second quarter. Great to see O.J. Gamble of Franklin Simpson back in the game. His shot attempt, and
wow,
that was
off balance, but it was good.
It was. And as a result of that hoop, the Spartans now trail by 3. That pass is intercepted. And back up the Spartans with a turnover of their own. Nice pass right there. And that is Brandon Rowe with the hoop.
Good unselfish play.
And the Spartans are back.
Both teams were a little sloppy in that back and forth there.
We're under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Tightly contested game here. Wildcats leading the Spartans by 1. Gamble with a long 3, no. The Franklin Simpson hustles, gets the offensive rebound. 3-point attempt, no. This time, South Warren gets the rebound, and it's Andrew Linhart. And he gets the ball to Andrew Goley. And Coach Corals is going to call a timeout. We'll keep it right here. Minute 35 to go in the first half. It's a 1-point game. Spartans trailing by 1. And Steve, you feel like if the Spartans can clean up these turnovers in the first half, they've got a real shot at winning this game.
Right. I think that, they need to stay within their offense. Franklin's a tough team. They're active on defense. They're a good rebounding team tonight. South Warren just needs to play within their game and be patient on offense. Take the good look when it comes. And, it's anybody's game right now.
Steve's absolutely right on that point. It's anybody's game, as he just said. 1-point margin. Franklin Simpson holding the upper hand with 1:35 to go in the first half. We appreciate you joining us on PrepSpin, WarrenCountySchools.org, WBKO. Just look for the PrepSpin link. We've had a couple of good basketball games tonight. First one, it falls under the definition of a thriller. South Warren defeating Franklin Simpson in the girls' game, 49-46 in double overtime. Lady Spartans rallying from a 9-point deficit to win that game. Brandon Rowe, wow.
That's their offense, patience, and they're rewarded for it.
And Steve hit the nail on the head.
Nice.
Spartans up 2.
Not sure he didn't shuffle his feet.
Yep. Young man has checked into the game that I know a lot of people feel as there'll be a timeout. We'll keep it here. Number 12, Easton Jointer. Steve, I've known that young man since he attended Rich Pond Elementary. His upside in basketball, like I said, if he allows himself to be coached, when it's all said and done, people will definitely know who he is in the South Warren boys basketball program. He just checked in. Steve, I do want to mention Greenwood announced their Hall of Fame class tonight. Want to congratulate them. Of course, we've talked about Steve. One of your sons attends Greenwood. Your other son is an alum of theirs. And I want to just get your thoughts on this. I'll dig it up again here in a moment. One guy I'm very familiar with, as we're under a minute to go in the first half. We'll run down those Hall of Fame inductees in just a moment as South Warren will get the ball with a 2-point lead. So this is Andrew Linhart with the ball. As there's a kick there, so South Warren will keep it. Be curious if South Warren plays for the final shot here. 38 seconds left to go.
I think if I were them, I would.
Yep.
The way this game's gone back and forth.
Kind of feel like if the Spartans can get to the halftime locker room with the lead, I like their chances. They've responded well. The pass over to Braden Parrish. That three-pointer, no. Rebound to the Wildcats. 20 seconds to go. Spartans up 2. This is DeMarcus Hogan for Franklin Simpson. And there, near steal by Brandon Rowe, but he does get the turnover. 7 seconds left. Coach Q not using a 30-second timeout. He points to the clock to his players, says notice the time. So it's goalie, and he gets the ball quickly up court. But will he get a shot off? No. Wow, he does.
He's got a foul.
And they call a blocking foul. 0.1 second left, 1/10 of a second. Heads up play by goalie. He knew the time.
Franklin's coach is not going to be pleased with that.
No.
A foul with 0.1 second left.
No.
Send someone to the line.
Either team going to end this half in the bonus. So Andrew Goalie will go to the free throw line.
The referees are getting a workout tonight, mopping the floor.
I was going to say, that about the third time they've had to mop it, hasn't it, Steve? So goalie will have 2 free throws. First one's off the mark. As he will try to convert on this second free throw to give the Spartans a 3-point lead, and he does that. I don't think Franklin Simpson can do anything here.
No,
It'll be a tip.
1/10.
All right. So we're at halftime. South Warren leading Franklin Simpson 25-22. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back. You're watching South Warren Spartans boys basketball on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or
Perfect.
get up.
Looks good. Good, we're gonna take it up.
Who's not a runner now? I am proof of the power of advanced medicine.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives, it's saving lifetimes.
Welcome back to South Warren High School. We're at halftime of the second game of our doubleheader tonight. The Spartans of South Warren leading the Wildcats of Franklin Simpson 25-22. Our first game tonight on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network was an absolute dandy as South Warren rallied from a 9-point deficit to defeat Franklin Simpson 49-46 in double overtime. Mike Cleff and Steve Sanders with the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network. Nice turnout tonight by fans from both Spartans Nation and Lady Spartans Nation, along with Wildcats and Lady Wildcats Nation. Steve, we're going to shift the subject for a moment here to Greenwood High School. They announced their Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023. I'll run them down, but there's one I want to ask you about in particular. As I mentioned, Steve and his wife have two sons. One attends Greenwood, and the other is an alum of Greenwood. First of all, congratulations to Ellie Young. She played girls soccer. She was the class of 2015. The Lady Gator softball team from 2013. Then Brad Cooper, no, not Bradley Cooper, Brad Cooper, football from the class of 2000. And then someone who has very strong ties to this high school, South Warren, someone that Steve and I know, Chris Decker, who was the baseball coach at Greenwood from 1995 to 2010. And, of course, Chris later became the athletic director at South Warren High School. And, in fact, he was the one that hired the Spartans head coach, current football head coach, Brandon Smith. And, Steve, I think that was a pretty good hire.
That was a pretty good hire, I would say. That was a pretty good hire. I think that hire has had some great benefit to it.
Now, Steve, let's talk about Chris Decker. In my time here, I dealt with him as the South Warren athletic director, and just a wonderful guy. Did a great job. Go ahead, Steve. Yeah.
I can, my wife has had kids of teachers and everybody all across the district, including them. But, my best memory of Chris Decker is, and, he and I don't know each other personally, but my wife knows the family, and I know who he is. And I can remember being at a regional cross-country race in Greene County, Kentucky on a rainy October day. It had rained, very, very ugly conditions. I would not have been there if I didn't have a child running in there. I was standing at the finish line waiting for my kid to show up, and I looked beside me, and there's Chris Decker. Chris didn't have a kid running. He was just the athletic director here at South Warren, and he was there to support his kids that were running in that race. And, Greene County is not an easy place to get to. It's quite an interesting drive out through the country, and again, the weather was terrible. But to look up and to see him there rooting his kids on, that's a lot. Cross country is a great sport, but it's not. Let's be real. It's not basketball. It's not football. It's not necessarily your high-profile sports. But to have him there rooting those kids on was a great thing.
And it meant the world to those kids, didn't it?
It did. It meant a lot to me, and my kid was running for Greenwood, but just to see him there, it was really a neat thing. And I'm looking around the arena right now. Miss Hester's here, and I see Nick Lowe over on the side. Nick has a lot of connections between Greenwood and South, and it's just a lot of great people working with kids. But yeah, Chris Decker. You go to a race like that in the middle of nowhere on a nasty, rainy night. That means a lot to kids. It really does.
There were two things. I talked with Chris. Again, I dealt with him a lot when he was the South Warren athletic director. To listen to the story about the process he went through with hiring Brandon Smith was very good, very interesting. But I also talked to him. His most prominent player that he coached as the head baseball coach at Greenwood was Corey Hart,
right,
who went on to a very distinguished.
Let's be real. That Greenwood Athletic Hall of Fame is, it's got some, between Hart and Damian Fishback.
Yes.
I mean, you're talking about professional athletes.
Yes.
And, that's quite prestigious Hall of Fame there for that athletic program there.
Well, three things about Corey Hart. His dad, Johnny Hart, he's an electrician, still working well into Corey's major league career. And, he didn't have to work anymore, but he still went to work as an electrician. Chris brought that up because he said, I never had to worry about Corey Hart's work ethic. And I asked him, did Corey allow himself to be coached? And kind of like with William Unseld. And Chris said, absolutely, he allowed himself to be coached. But Chris said something else. He said, with him, though, sometimes you just got to let him do his thing. And he said, could you tell in high school that he was that good? He said, oh, yeah.
I would
sometimes.
think that would be hard for a coach when, let's just be realistic, you're coaching a player that's probably better than you, athletically and for the sport. I'm sure Coach Unseld will tell you that in his coaching experience, he's coached kids that play basketball better than him. And let's be real, he comes from a basketball family.
Yes, he does.
He's got the credentials and the family. He's, to be real, he's probably the Warren County first family of basketball.
I would agree, yeah.
He's got, but there are kids that you coach that are better than you. And so to try to be authentic and build that trust with those kids takes a lot of effort.
We're at halftime. South Warren leading Franklin Simpson 25-22. Mike Cleff, Steve Sanders on the Warren County Public School Sports Network. We're going to take another quick timeout. Second half, about a minute and a half away from starting. We'll be right back.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives. It's saving lifetimes.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
All right, we're back at South Warren High School, and we're about to start the second half. Steve Sanders has handed the microphone off. We're going to talk to this gentleman, one of our favorite people. He's an assistant principal at South Warren High School, former South Warren athletic director, former Greenwood athletic director, Nick Lowe. Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Nick, I want to ask you about someone you might not be aware of this. Tonight, Greenwood announced that Chris Decker, you know about this, he's in the Athletic Hall of Fame.
Yep.
That's the guy you succeeded as athletic director. I know what you think of Chris Decker. He's special, isn't he?
No, absolutely. And, Coach Decker, he was actually my 7th grade and 8th grade PE teacher.
Really?
A long time ago.
Okay.
Knew him when I was a student at Greenwood, when I first started coaching at Greenwood and teaching at Greenwood. Of course, he was the baseball coach, and then, he came over to South Warren and started the athletic programs here when the school first opened, and, I had an opportunity to work with him when I was AD at Greenwood. He's a tremendous guy. He's done a ton for Greenwood. He's done a ton for South Warren. He's just a Warren County guy. Went to Warren East, grew up in Richardsville, which is where my mom taught at, so he's been all over this county. He's a Warren County guy.
Nick Lowe, the former athletic director at South Warren and Greenwood High School. He's an assistant principal at South Warren. Nick, I want to give you a chance to talk about two people here, or two groups of people. One, the current athletic directors at each high school. Of course, here at South Warren, the gentleman that succeeded you, Jeffrey Ashby. Warren East, Brandon Combs. Warren Central, Jason Esters, and then Dan Dillingham at Greenwood. Just like you, Nick, my dealing with them, I'm spoiled. I mean, and you know how hard they work. And, Nick, they always have time for me. And I guess how fortunate are we to have 4 athletic directors like that?
It's a special group. And even back when, Combs was assistant under Vincent when he was at East.
Yep.
And, Esters helped out with Joe Hood there for a while. And, the community that we have with our 4 schools, of course, we all want our kids to win and we all want our schools to do well, but at the same time, we collaborate really well with each other. We're there to support each other. I could pick up the phone and call any of those 4 guys. They could call me with a question or with help, and we're all willing to help each other. Whether Central was going through their renovations and East going through theirs, and Greenwood we've all shared each other's facilities. We've all been there to help each other run events. You really couldn't ask for a better group. You really couldn't.
We're joined by Nick Lowe, current South Warren assistant principal, former athletic director at South Warren and Greenwood. It's 27-24, South Warren up, early second half. Nick, before we let you go and enjoy this second half, your reaction to the hiring of your new boys basketball coach. We're certainly familiar with him, affectionately known as Coach Q, Carlos Quarles. I feel like Jeffrey Ashby got this hire right.
No, he definitely did. Coach Q, I remember him my first year teaching. Actually, I was actually at Warren Central, and he was there. He was helping Tim Riley at the time, and so I knew a little bit about Coach Q then. I've watched him when I was a Greenwood coach with, over there at Central. Knew him when he went to Russellville. Not only is he a phenomenal just person, the staff here at school have just talked and raved about how positive he is. The kids love him, but he's so knowledgeable. He played football at Western. He's been around some great basketball and football programs. Not only has he been a coach, he's also actually been an administrator. He's an administrator at Russellville High School. He just brings such a wealth of knowledge to our school, to our program, and just a really good positivity that our kids, kind of were looking for. And Ashby, he did. He hit the nail on the head with this, and I really am excited to watch him kind of flourish here. And it's been really cool to watch just our, the school kind of embrace him and him kind of embrace us. It's been fun.
And one more thing, Nick, that first game tonight was fun. What a nice win for Lane Embry and the Lady Spartans.
Yes, exciting way to start it off. First 4-go doubleheader doesn't disappoint.
All right. Nick Lowe, we appreciate the time. Good luck to the Spartans in the second half. The lead's now 5. The best to you and your wonderful family. How old are your kids now?
I got 6, 4, and 2.5.
Your wife's a saint.
Yes, she is.
Nick, thank you for the hospitality and appreciate the time. Best wishes to you, partner.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Nick Lowe, the athletic director or former athletic director at South Warren and Greenwood. He's the assistant principal here at South Warren, and he's handing off the microphone to Steve Sanders. It's 29-24. 5:10 to go in the third quarter. Franklin Simpson shooting free throws. And so I'm giving Nick a fist bump, thanking him for his time. So, again, Nick's part of the hospitality here with Jenny Hester, the principal, and Jeffrey Ashby, the athletic director. And so, great to see you too, Nick. It's 29-25. Steve, obviously we'll get you. It's 5:10 to go in the game. I do want to get your thoughts. You could hear Nick. Steve, you know him through your sons and yourself. He is pure class, isn't he?
He is, absolutely. There's nobody, when I first met Nick, he was young.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody's young compared to me and you, I think, Mike. But,
I agree.
He's young, but he has such a maturity about him. And, he's kid-centered, and I got nothing but respect for Nick, and he's always been a friend to me, and I value that amongst all else. Nice play.
That was a very nice play. The steal and dunk by Brandon Rowe, 31-27 South Warren.
Another steal.
I'll finish the thought on Nick Lowe in just a moment, Steve, as South Warren with a 4-point lead, and Rowe, wow, he's feeling it.
He's on fire.
South Warren up by 7.
Franklin's got to take a timeout.
They do.
Stop the bleeding.
We'll keep here. So 2 things, Steve, and I don't know how well you could hear Nick during the interview.
I couldn't, actually. But,
okay. When I asked him about Chris Decker, and there were things about Chris Decker that he was reciting that I didn't know. And he had Chris Decker as a teacher in 7th and 8th grade. I did not know that.
I'm telling you, I got a lot of respect for him, but he's young.
Yeah.
In the business anyway, but yeah.
And then I didn't know that Carlos Quarles taught at the elementary level. He taught at Richardsville. Nick said, I did not know that. And again, I think this relates to him being a head coach here. He can relate
to all age levels. We were talking about that with Coach Unseld.
Yep.
Age of child doesn't matter. Kids are kids. You can teach. You can coach. It's like, a good teacher in so many ways is like the Pied Piper. You can get
That's
those
a good
kids
way
to
of putting
follow
it.
you.
Yep.
Then you can teach them. You can grow them. Man, South Warren's just blown the lid off this right now. I mean, their level of activity and hustle is just blowing this game wide open. Rowe is just having an amazing game.
Oh, he is. And again, Steve, you watch the other 4 players with Rowe. They stay active. He keeps them involved.
But they know who's got the hot hand right now.
Yes. So it's 4:25 to go in the third quarter. Thanks again to Nick Lowe. Again, we were just talking about that. As South Warren trying to go to 4-1 on the young season under first-year head coach Carlos Corrals, affectionately known as Coach Q. Spelled Quarles, pronounced Corrals. Franklin Simpson. And you know Coach Q enough, Steve. He said during the timeout, we're up 7. Let's try to get this thing up to 10 in the next. But
Franklin's not going to quit.
No.
They're not going to give up, as you see there. Burying a three-pointer. They're not going to go away.
We're at the halfway point of the third quarter. South Warren leading 34-30. That's Andrew Goley with the ball out front.
Franklin sticking with that matchup zone.
Yep. Nice move inside by Braden Parrish.
That's how you beat a zone.
Good call. Good no call there, Steve.
Move the ball around. Look like another mop break.
Yep. It's not hot in here, but Steve, the temperature outside is unusually warm for it being December 6th. I believe it got above 60.
These guys are running hard too.
They are. Yep.
Yeah, it was, and the forecast was for it to get warmer overnight.
Okay. So South Warren pressuring full court. Franklin Simpson breaks it, and I think they're going to get a foul on the Spartans.
That might not have been a bad foul.
That is the third foul of the second half for South Warren. Franklin Simpson has committed 1, so the Wildcats will inbound. That's DeMarcus Hogan with the ball. He's being guarded by Brandon Rowe. (36-30). Spartans leading.
Nice move.
And a good rebound by Golden. Yeah. Uh-oh.
It's getting a little bit aggressive right there. A little bit ambitious. They got to stay within their game plan.
As you might expect, Coach Q is not happy with that pass.
No. You can't get greedy.
Yep.
You've got a good game plan. You've got to stick with it. A little bit of pressure by South Warren.
Tell you what, Steve, this pressure's done a nice job. We are under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Spartans with a 6-point lead. Mike Cleff, Steve Sanders with the Warren County Public School Sports Network.
Foul on Franklin Simpson.
Yep. As Rowe got the rebound, and Steve, I wouldn't be surprised that the mop's going to come out again.
Yep.
So I'll tell you what, Steve and I will sleep well tonight. Yes. We've had bonus basketball, but it's been a lot of fun. We'll be back on Thursday night. Looking forward to seeing Warren Central boys basketball for the first time. Steve, is William Unseld here tonight? I'm looking across the other side.
I have not. Mike, I can't see.
Okay.
I do well to see the viewfinder, but.
Steve, if you look where they have the Go DeMarcus number 4 sign, go up about 6 or 7 rows to the right. I can't tell. I think that's Coach Unseld.
It may be.
Okay.
Probably if that person would stand up, we know for sure.
Of course, he has a vested interest in both teams. They'll obviously play South Warren later this year. They play Franklin Simpson next Tuesday. There's Justin Posey. Good shot.
Nice ball movement.
Yep. And the Spartans' lead is now 9. And I believe we're going to get the foul there. Yep, they're going to call Justin Posey for the foul, his first foul of the game. One thing Steve mentioned, Coach Unseld, and that almost went in, so O.J. Gamble will go to the line for free throws. He's been very happy. Warren Central has had a lot of assists as a team, and Coach Unseld loves that. He loves their unselfishness. So here is Gamble at the line for two. 1:59 to go in the third quarter. And South Warren leading Franklin Simpson now 39-31. Steve, I thank you for sharing that story about Chris Decker when he attended the cross-country meet in Greene County. That's a fabulous story. Speaks volumes about Chris Decker.
It does. It does.
And you're right. I've been to Greene County. Love going there. It's just not easy to get to. You're right. So the rebound by Lucas Smith as Coach Q gets a couple of subs in there. Bryce Button is also in the game. So now Brandon Rowe has the ball out front. And he gets the ball to Lucas Smith. You know, a player I like on South Warren, Steve, he starts for him, but I like this number 33, Braden Parrish.
Yeah, he does. He had really active at the beginning of the game. You know, he had his hands on a lot of passes, rebounds, had a couple of good shots.
Good hands. He's got a good touch from the outside. Now, he's not one of their star players, but he does a nice job. Nice move there by Rowe. That's nice, Steve. That's nice.
He's got such good body control.
And I'll tell you, Steve, nothing is more discouraging defensively. You play defense that long. Nice effort there by Franklin Simpson. They'll go to the line for a three-point play. We have 47.2 seconds left to go in the third quarter. South Warren is leading Franklin Simpson in the second game of our doubleheader. It's 41-33 with the Wildcats trying to convert a free throw here to cut the deficit to 7. South Warren has victories this season against Todd County Central, Logan County, and last night they defeated Allen County Scottsville. Their lone loss has been to Lyon County. The Wildcats convert the free throw, and the South Warren lead is 41-34. And there is Drew Hudson with the three-point attempt. A little bit off the mark, and the Wildcats will get the rebound with 34 seconds left.
Might want just a little bit more patience on the offensive end, because you turn around and give it back to Franklin Simpson with enough time to set their offense.
That shot is off the mark, and the ball is
one.
Yep. Lucas Smith had the screen out, but a Wildcats player knocked the ball out of bounds. So the Spartans will have the ball inbounds with 17.2 seconds left. They get the ball to Brandon Rowe with 12 seconds left.
That's who I've wanted to have it.
Yep.
See what he can do with it. Gonna have to get rolling though with 6 seconds, 5. Wow.
That is nice.
That's why you want him to have the ball.
Absolutely. Very nice.
Almost had to steal in another basket.
He sure did.
Wow,
so,
nice ending to the third quarter for South Warren.
Spartans,
by 9.
Absolutely. 9-point lead, as Steve mentioned, 43-34. We'll take a timeout. We'll have the fourth quarter on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives. It's saving lifetimes.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
Welcome back to South Warren High School. We're just underway with the fourth quarter. Spartans leading the Wildcats of Franklin Simpson 43-34. Mike Cleff, Steve Sanders. Justin Posey, three-point attempt. A little bit long, but a good rebound by Andrew Linhart. And he'll take it out front. What do you think of this game so far, Steve?
Well, you know, I was just thinking to myself, South Warren's got a little more pep in their step, and Franklin seems to be just not hustling the ball like they were in the late first quarter, second quarter. They're just not getting the loose balls. They're not getting the rebounds. And then on top of that, Rowe is just, he's on fire tonight.
And, you know, Steve, the thing is, I can't think of a bad shot he's taken tonight.
No. I'm just amazed at his body control when he penetrates and goes to the rim. You know, he's not out of control. He doesn't foul. He doesn't charge. He's just smooth going to the rim.
7 minutes left to go in the game.
I'm South Warren. I'm not in a hurry. I want to get a good shot. Right there is a good shot.
That is. You know, Steve, he hasn't shot well tonight, but you can tell by his form that Justin Posey normally is a better shooter than what he's showing tonight.
That should be an offensive foul, but not going to get the call.
And what do we have here? I think we have another, yep, they're going to have to get the towel out to mop it up there. Yeah, I think you made a great point, Steve, about the Spartans not needing to be in a hurry. They lead by 7 with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. South Warren leading 43-36. They got that area cleaned up. So the Spartans will bring it up court. That is Andrew Goley with the ball, getting it over to Andrew Linhart. Braden Parrish. Good rebound by Posey. That's nicely done. Great effort by Justin Posey.
That's just forcing the issue on Franklin. They're just forcing that ball and come up with a turnover.
Rowe with the steal. Spartans doing a nice job passing the ball against the Franklin Simpson zone. Uh-oh. Yep. That's DeMarcus Hogan with the steal.
That's a travel. We're going to get a foul.
Okay. That's going to be, they're going to call a blocking foul on Justin Posey. That's his second foul of the game. That is, Franklin Simpson's in the bonus. That's the 7th foul in the half against South Warren. Franklin Simpson, Steve's committed just 2 fouls.
Right, that's just what I was looking at on the scoreboard.
So this is Jalen Briscoe with a 1-and-1 for the Wildcats. He hits the first one. If you recall, Briscoe hit a couple of big shots to rally Franklin Simpson in the first half. And to get them going, Wildcats overcame an 8-point deficit to take the lead. Speaking of an 8-point margin, that's what South Warren leads right now. Briscoe makes it 7 with his second free throw made. And we have 5.5 minutes left in the game, so plenty of time. 45-38, South Warren leading Franklin Simpson. First game tonight, South Warren girls basketball defeated Franklin Simpson 49-46 and no
Another
lowers.
turnover.
Yep. So nice catch by the gentleman that's sitting in the front row, but the problem is he's not wearing a South Warren jersey. And like Steve said, a turnover. So the Wildcats have a chance to cut it to 5 or even 4. Hogan with the 3, no. But there's O.J. Gamble with the rebound. Another shot attempt, no good. Both teams working hard here, playing hard. You'll love to see that. This time, it's Rowe with the rebound. Does a nice job cradling the ball and bringing the ball up court. And South Warren with just over 4.5 minutes left. They have a 7-point lead. As Steve said, there's no reason for them to be in a hurry. That's Drew Hudson. Drew Hudson with the 3 ball. 48-38.
You know, I'd like to see South Warren, instead of throwing so many lofty passes, maybe get a little more movement in their offense and come to the ball, a little more firmer passes. But, you know, Franklin's still got some active hands, and these lofted passes are going to get intercepted.
Kind of like Steve in the first game, when Franklin Simpson would get the ball to a player at the free throw line, it seemed to open things up for the high-low game. I understand where you're coming from.
You know, I like the strategy of burning a little clock, but instead of just standing still and throwing lofty passes, get movement, throw some snap passes or bounce passes, keep it out of Franklin's hands.
And you know, Steve, that is every basketball player is guilty of this. When they get tired, they'll stand around, and that's what you don't want. You're right. Want to keep that movement. Ooh, they got away with
one there.
Yep. Andrew Goley with the ball, gets it to Parrish. Nice move, and he got fouled. He's going to go to the line for 2. I'll say it again, Steve. You know, Braden Parrish is a starter. He's not their star player, but I just think he does a nice job. He can play inside, he can play outside. He doesn't take bad shots. Solid player.
Got a nice form from the free throw line.
And I think the other one, when you see him, he's not a very big guy, but Andrew Goley does a lot of good things for them, number 1. You know, and he's not tall, and he's not, you know, he's fairly slender, but he always seems to be around the ball. Smart player. DeMarcus Hogan.
Really awkward shot.
Yep. Thought I heard a whistle, but there was not one. Yeah. And Hogan takes it in, and no. Wow. How many shot attempts have they had here, Steve? 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
And have the ball now on the inbounds.
Yep. 3:37 to go. The Spartans lead 49-38. The Wildcats are inbounding the ball underneath their own basket. And they get the ball to Jalen Briscoe. 3-point attempt there. No. And this time, Justin Posey with the rebound. And they better hurry up and get it over across half court.
Right. You can't get too lackadaisical with it.
There you go.
They're either going to get caught by a 10-second count or a trap.
And I'll tell you the other thing, Steve, is, and I think Coach Q will do this, their offense seems to work well when they get Brandon Rowe in the middle of the court.
The ball needs to filter through him.
Yep. Rowe passes out of the double team. We're under 3 minutes. It's 49-38 South Warren, and Coach Q is going to call a timeout. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more on the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network.
Don't forget to pack 5 pairs of clean underwear.
Okay, Mom.
What's wrong with these? I think we're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
This is a Mingy moment.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives, it's saving lifetimes.
Welcome back to South Warren High School. 2:52 to go in the third quarter, 49-38. Steve, you mentioned no need for the Spartans to be in a hurry, but at the same time, you don't want them to be too tentative. There's still a lot of time left.
No, run their offense. Run the offense through row. Be deliberate about it, but if you get a good open shot, you got to take it.
Andrew Linhart has checked back into the game for the Spartans. So it is their original starting five.
Franklin Simpson's gone to more of a man-to-man defense.
And that's a foul on Franklin Simpson. It's just their fourth of the half. So South Warren will inbounds.
I would imagine we're going to see several fouls here.
I'm sure that
if they don't get a turnover.
Right. And I'm sure Dee Spencer is about to tell him, the Franklin Simpson head coach, start using those fouls because they're going to have to send them to the free throw line at some point. South Warren still with possession. Nice inbounds pass. Ooh, nice block, but they get a foul.
That was a really late call.
Yep. Brandon Rowe will go to the line for two.
Coach Spencer not necessarily happy with it, but he's maintaining his composure.
Yep. I agree with you, Steve. I thought it was a foul, but the whistle was definitely delayed. Yeah. So we have 2:36 to go. First free throw, as you can see, is off the mark. So Rowe will try it again. Steve and I believe we've been talking about Brandon Rowe. I believe his dad is someone I know very well. I work with him. And that's Marcellus Rowe.
Yes, Marcellus is a great guy.
Yep, wonderful. He's worked in the transportation department for a long time. (52-38) South Warren, and it looks like they got a foul on the Spartans. Now, Steve, that's the one thing that Coach Q doesn't want, because the Wildcats are in the bonus and they could get points without the clock moving.
They've been a pretty decent free throw shooting team, and you're right. If you give them the opportunity to score without the clock moving, that's not a positive thing. Ooh, rattle around. Wow, I wasn't sure that was which way it went.
Yep. And Coach Unseld has made his way down to the court. He's with Cade. He's over there saying hi to some of the Franklin Simpson people. 52-38. Hogan with the bucket inside, so it's 52-40. Franklin Simpson takes a timeout. We'll keep it here. Excuse me. 2:06 to go, and the Spartans with a 12-point lead over the Wildcats. Now, Steve, one thing that I'm sure that Coach Spencer's talking with his players about, they have to commit 2 more fouls to get South Warren in the bonus. And they're going to have to reach a point where they're going to have to put South Warren on the line.
Right.
Well, Steve, if this holds true to form, the Spartans would be 4-1. I'll tell you what, if I'm Coach Q, this is a positive start to the season.
I think he'd be pleased.
Yep.
They've done a lot of positive things tonight. Obviously, there's always things this early in the year that you need to work on, but you know, they've had a good game tonight.
We'll set this up again for you. 2:06 left to go in the game. South Warren has the ball. You have to figure Franklin Simpson will apply full court pressure. The Spartans are leading 52-40. They had a slight lead at the half, and they've really stretched it out. And Brandon Rowe will inbound the ball for the Spartans.
Gotta get some movement. Yep. There we go.
Yep, nicely done. Pass over to Justin Posey.
Not sure he should have just pulled that back out. He was kind of in an awkward position.
Well, Coach Unseld almost made a catch there. South Warren ball. Yeah, you're going back to what you said, Steve. I would have pulled the ball out there. Yeah. Use some clock.
Well, the Franklin defender was in a good position. He was either going to have an awkward shot or he was going to commit a charge.
They get a blocking foul there, so Brandon Rowe will go to the line for 2 shots. Steve, I'll tell you what, I apologize. I have to say this again. Brandon Rowe, I'm just thoroughly impressed with him as a basketball player.
Absolutely.
He's it's just like he sees the game at a different level. And I just love everything about his game, his unselfishness. He has not taken a bad shot tonight. He's under control. And he just acts very composed out there. You know, you don't see him, he's not talking a lot of, junk. He just plays.
Seems to have a physical maturity. He controls his body, controls his emotions. And, that pays off for him.
That's a great point.
He's having such a great night. That was, that hit a really weird bounce on that rim and still went in.
So that gives the Spartans a 13-point lead. That was 14. Nice. And we have a minute 38 to go. And Briscoe has the ball now for the Wildcats. They're going to get a bucket right there.
South Warren needs to be careful just not to let it get into a track meet and out of control. There you go. Pull it back.
Yep. We're at a minute 15 to go.
Franklin's going to have to foul him.
The next foul will put South Warren in the bonus.
They probably should have already fouled him, but there you go. Let quite a bit of time come off that clock before they fouled.
Another thing with the South Warren team tonight, and Steve, I'm thinking of these 5 out on the court right now, Rowe, Parrish, goalie, Linhart, and Posey. The chemistry's good. You can tell they enjoy being teammates.
Play well together.
Yep. Free throw is no good, so we're at the minute mark.
Just a little bit out of control there.
And I think they're going to get Andrew Goalie on a push. And Franklin Simpson's going to go to the line for 2 free throws. They're in the double bonus now.
Coach's going to empty his bench, get his young kids some time.
Yep. And you know what? Knowing Coach Q, he's probably going to get. You know this, Steve. Normally, when one team empties the bench, the other one.
That's Franklin's. He's calling mercy. He's going to let some of his young kids get some PT.
You know what? I like that, Steve.
I do too. It's early in the season. It's not an end of the world game.
Yep. And I have a feeling what Coach Q's waiting for is for Franklin Simpson to commit a foul so he can get his guys in. He's going to call a timeout now.
Unfortunately for Franklin, they're going to have to take on Warren Central next week, which is going to be another tough game.
Well, and again, Steve, we'll run through this schedule. 35 seconds left. South Warren's going to go to 4-1 on the season. Thursday night, we'll see our first look of the Dragons. They'll host Glasgow. Boys game at 6 p.m. We'll be at Warren East Friday night for a girls-boys doubleheader. Warren East hosts Barron County. We'll start things at 6 p.m. A week from tonight, we'll be back at Warren Central for the doubleheader. Steve mentioned Franklin Simpson will visit Warren Central. That's a girls-boys doubleheader. Then 1 week on Friday, that's the 16th. That'll be our last live stream before the Christmas holidays. South Warren will travel to Warren Central. So that will be a girls game only. So anyway, here we go. As we're down to the final few seconds. And
I think
Steve.
South Warren's going to be content to let this clock run out.
Yep.
I think Franklin Simpson's probably going to get his hold back on their fouls now and just let the game in. There's some good hands, though.
Yep.
They're not going to give up on the defensive end, maybe just the fouling part.
Yep. Nice move here by South Warren. Just run the clock out. Yep.
Nice, entertaining game tonight.
It was.
Good game for our first boys varsity game of the season.
Solid victory for Coach Corals, Coach Q, and South Warren boys basketball as the Spartans defeat Franklin Simpson by a final of 54-42 to move to 4-1 on the season. The first game tonight, South Warren girls basketball wins a double overtime thriller over Franklin Simpson, 49-46. Steve, it's been an eventful night, but a good night. The results, both games were
good night for South Warren.
Yep.
Showed a lot of resiliency in the girls' game, and the boys. It was a tight game when it started, but they got a lead. They held the lead. They looked good.
They sure did. Steve, before we sign off, just let's go back to the first game. What stands out in that first game tonight? The 49-46 win by the South Warren girls.
I think just the resiliency of the ladies. There were a couple points where, I go back to the end of regulation when Franklin Simpson hit that three to tie it up with time running out. And, they could have easily just let that take the wind out of their sails and just quit. But they didn't. They withstood the first overtime. They went into the second overtime, got a lead, and in that game, a 4- and a 5-point lead was going to last. And, this game, a lot different. South Warren kind of exerted themselves in the second half and got a pretty decent-sized lead and just held that lead basically the whole second half. Franklin played hard. They just couldn't cut into that lead.
And I'll say it again, the first game for me, Steve, you got to – McLean Hudson and Gracie Hodges stood out. I just thought Gracie Hodges competed. Holy cow, on the defensive board, she was something else. And then the second game, Steve, I'll go back. Brandon Rowe, I just love everything about his game. But you can tell his teammates really enjoy playing with him. I think this is a Coach Q trait. It's an unselfish team. I think they've got a chance to do some pretty good things this year.
Rowe he's going to be a valuable member of this team this year. That's obvious. He's got some polished skills. Not to take anything away from the other kids because, listen, it was a team effort tonight too. But Rowe had the hot hand, and for a first game in the boys varsity class this year, it was a good first game. Glad to see South Warren really exert themselves in the second half and hold to it.
Enjoyed the visit with Nick Lowe tonight. He's the assistant principal out at South Warren, former South Warren and Greenwood athletic director. Many thanks to the great hospitality that was displayed and given to us tonight by South Warren High School principal Jenny Hester, Nick Lowe, the assistant principal and athletic director Jeffrey Ashby. Congratulations to Carlos Corals on the victory tonight. His first year off to a good start. They're 4-1. And Steve, it's been a heck of a lot of fun, and look forward to Thursday night at being at Warren Central.
Right, we'll be there at the home of the Dragons.
All right. That'll do it for tonight. Both games victorious by South Warren. We'll be back at you Thursday night But that'll do it for tonight. For Steve Sanders, I'm Mike Cleff, signing off for the Warren County Public Schools Sports Network and PrepSpin. Thank you so much for joining us. Be safe, get home tonight, and make sure to join us Thursday. And as always, we appreciate you joining us whenever you have the chance. Take care.